Hi everybody, my name is Tiffany Elrod. I'm an independent consultant with Jamberry Nails, and I wanted to show you tonight my application method. I struggled at first with keeping my wraps on for the length of time that everyone promised they could stay on, and after lots of trial and error, I have finally found an application method that truly works for me, and I can keep my wraps on for 14 days or longer, but I usually decide that I want to change them first because of so many cute designs to choose from. Okay, so let's get started. You can see I've already washed my hands. I've pushed back my cuticles. I highly recommend this tool that you can find at Sally Beauty Supply. It's called a cuticle spoon or a spoon pusher. It is super, super, super amazing. So you just use it to push back your cuticles and it will remove all of the invisible cuticle all around your nails. If you have any sort of cuticle or skin or anything that touches the wrap, it's going to peel up. It can adhere to skin or cuticle, so it's going to lift along those edges. So this tool in and of itself is so very useful because I find you just can't get the same application by pushing back your cuticles with an orange stick. You can try, and maybe if you use a cuticle remover, but you're probably going to want to invest in one of these neat little tools or spend a few extra minutes with an orange stick or a standard cuticle pusher like this. Okay, so the first thing that I always do is I wash my hands with a dishwashing detergent to make sure that they're nice and clean, but I also go over them with an alcohol or acetone soaked cotton ball. Now I've already prepped my nails for the most part. I am going to give them a light buff with my Jamberry buffer just to show you what we're doing here. I'm probably going to just do two for you to see what it looks like. So after I've buffed them, I'm going to go back over them with the acetone. And again, you could use regular nail polish remover or plain alcohol, but I just have acetone on hand, so I use that. As an added precaution, I use a nail dehydrator, which again, you can find this at Sally Beauty Supply. I don't think you really have to have it, but I figure, why not? It's not gonna hurt. So you just brush it on and it dries fairly instantly. I'm pretty sure it's nothing more than alcohol or acetone. So I'm sufficiently drying out my nails, as you see. Okay, at this point in time, I'm gonna go ahead and turn on my Jamberry heater, which is super quiet. You don't even hear it. The heat comes out right from here and it's nice and soft right there. So even if a child was to come in and put their finger on it, it's not gonna scald, really burn them in any way. They're probably not gonna leave their finger there, but it won't stay there for too long and it won't burn them even if it did. So next I'm going to take my wrap. Tonight I'm using the Poppy and White Polka, excuse me. And you can just size these to your nails using the clear backing. I already know that this is the right size for my pointer finger. So I'm going to use my orange stick to lift it up. You never, ever want to touch the back of the wrap with your fingers. The reason for that is that we have oils on our finger, and if you touch the wrap backing with any sort of an oil, then it's not going to adhere as well. So now I've just trimmed it off, the part that I think I will need, and I'm actually going to swing my orange stick to the other side, so that I'll be able to place it a little bit better. Now I'm going to take this wrap and I'm going to hold it adhesive side up against my heater. It's going to curl a little bit, and that really just shows me that it's getting hot. It doesn't have to stay on there for long. And then I'm going to line it up as best as I can at the base of my cuticle. Now this is super important. I'm going to start from the base of my cuticle, push down, and then to the sides. You don't want to do the sides first because that will not get you a smooth application all over your nail. I'm going to stick it back in front of the heater for just a moment. Let it get nice and warmed up. And then I'm going to take my rubber cuticle pusher and I'm going to press super hard all along the edges, straight down, and really use a lot of pressure because it is pressure and heat that make our Jamberry wraps stay on. So even if you think you pushed enough, push some more. So you see, I'm really getting, I don't know if you can see, I'm really pushing on this thing. I'm not lightly brushing over it. I am applying some force. And now we need to let this cool. I'm not gonna do anything with the end of it right now. I'm just gonna leave it alone, let it cool for a minute. I'm gonna move on over to my to my tall man finger, my middle finger, and I know that this one's the right size. You always wanna err on the side of a smaller wrap than a larger wrap because again, you don't want it to touch any side of your nail whatsoever. So you might see a little bit of my fingernail poking out on the other side, and that's okay. But if you get one that's too big and it overlaps and goes onto the sides of your finger where you have skin, then you're probably gonna get some peeling. So again, I just take my orange stick, lift up the wrap, and I've got some little nail scissors, and I will just snip off the part that I think will be fitting on my nail. And of course my scissors wanted to grab it, that's okay. Again, I never touch the back of it with my finger. The white part has to be free from any oils. Take my heater, heat it up a little bit. And as they heat, they get really flexible and pliable. I'm going to stick it down on my nail. Usually I would do this by putting my finger down on a surface, but I don't think you'll be able to see as well if I do that. Okay. Again, I take my thumb and I'm going to go straight down and then to the right and then to the left. And I'm going to go over it a few times just with my thumb. Really pushing hard. I'm going to hit it again with the heat. This heater is so quiet and so light, so easily portable. You can travel with it super easy. Once it's warm, again, I'm going to take my cuticle pusher and I'm going to go over it really hard, making sure that I get every piece really, really, really well with the pressure. The more you can rub down the edges now, the better your seal is going to be. And the seal is what's going to keep you from having any sort of lifting around the edges. Okay. So now I have these right here. You see I've got some extra on the edges, and that's okay. This one right here, I definitely have some extra. So I'm just going to take my fingernail clippers. Now you can definitely use nail scissors if you are coordinated enough. I don't happen to be. So I just use I use the clippers, and I can tell where my fingernail is because I can just kind of move the clipper around and kind of see where it bumps up against it. Some people will turn it upside down and visibly do it, but I can kind of just feel it. And it's okay if you trim a little bit of your nail off as you go, that's fine. And then I'm just going to look and make sure that I got everything off. I might trim a little bit of nail as we go. Okay, so this is looking pretty good, but I'm going to take my buffer and I'm going to go back over it with a downward motion just to make sure that I've got a really smooth edge. Because if it's not smooth on the edges, then it might catch on some fabrics. Towels, microfiber towels for your hair are a big one for me. So I'm just going to, once I do a downward motion, and because mine is cool, I can safely do back and forth like this. Now here's where the magic happens. Because I didn't file it, there are no rough edges, and I buffed it smooth with this super nifty little Jamberry buffer. So it's nice and smooth. I'm going to take a Ziploc baggie, just a plain regular one. This one happens to be a hefty bag actually. And I'm going to wrap my finger in it. I'm going to pull it really tight and I'm going to twist it. Now I'm going to achieve, by doing this, I'm going to be sealing down the edge right here and applying one final burst of pressure to my nail while I hit it with the heat one more time. So I'm a little bit crazy and I'm actually going to hold it there until my finger starts to burn. Now you don't need to be in pain. So that was long enough. I could feel the heat through the bag. I'm going to leave it just like this. I'm going to just twist it just for a second. And you can see I've kind of shrink wrapped the wrap onto my nail. And then I'll peel it off and that nail is ready to go. And then I will repeat those steps right over here. So just to make sure you got it, I'm going to trim. Sorry, my thumbnail is horrifically short on this hand that you're having to look at. I'm going to take my buffer make sure I've smoothed off those clipped edges. I'm going to wrap my Ziploc bag, and I'm going to hold it in front of my heater. And I'll pull it aside. Now, I happen to have some roughness with my hands. Apparently I use them way too much for some reason. So I was having a little bit of a problem with my nails lifting on the tips. What I have found is if I will just leave my heater out on my bathroom counter, or because it's so easy to pull it out and just set it up in the mornings, for the first 3 or 4 days of my after putting on the initial application, I will wrap each nail, hit it in front of the heat for about 3 seconds, go to the next one, hit it, go to the next one, hit it. I don't do the full heat like you're watching right now, but I do it long enough just to push it back down. And if I do that for the first 3 days of my application, then I can keep these wraps on for about 14 days. Now, I will periodically throughout those 14 days have a little bit of roughness along the edges, and I can just take care of that with the Jamberry buffer and just buff it down. I do not like to use a file because, again, I think that it leaves too much of a ragged edge. You can try using a glass file. Those are very fine, and they give you pretty good surface to work with. So my nails are perfectly smooth along the edges. There's nothing rough, but I do that and make sure that there's nothing rough. And if I did find anything rough, then I would just smooth it back down. And that's how you do it. And I would go through and do all 10 of my nails, and then I would do my toes the same way. With my toes, I do not do the baggy method because that would be a little bit challenging for me. But instead, what my secret with the toes is, really quick, is I don't clip my toenails before I put the wraps on. I do the wraps and then I clip my toenails on top. And then I can use a buffer just to buff right down on top of the nail, and we're good to go. I'm actually going to do a separate video and Brave showing you all my toes to show you exactly how I do my my pedicure manicures. So I hope that you've enjoyed this. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email at tiffanie.elrod@gmail.com, or visit my website at telrod.jamberrynails.net. I look forward to speaking with you soon. Hope you're having a great night.